All right, let's jump right in. Look, if your mental picture of YouTube is still all about viral cat videos or becoming the next big vlogging star, you're really missing the point. Today, we're going to break down the core ideas from the book Make Money Globally with YouTube, and we'll lay out a blueprint that'll help you transform your channel from, just a fun hobby into a real, genuine global business.
And this quote right here, this is probably the single most important mindset shift you need to make, right from the get-go. I mean, let that really sink in. It's not about that one video you upload. No, it's about building something that has lasting value, something that keeps working for you, earning for you, long after you've hit that publish button. Honestly, this one idea, it completely reframes the entire game.
So, what's holding so many creators back? Well, the book calls it the YouTube lottery myth, and you know exactly what this is. It's this idea that success is all about getting lucky, right? Hitting it big with one viral masterpiece and then just kicking back and collecting those little ad revenue checks. But here's the thing, and as we're about to see, that's a totally flawed, completely unsustainable way to think about it. And this really breaks it down perfectly, showing the two completely different paths you can walk. On one hand, you've got the hobbyist, who's always just chasing the next view count, maybe reaching a local audience, and basically just hoping for the best. But on the other hand, you've got the business builder. They're not chasing views, they're strategically creating value and building a global asset. It's a whole different ballgame, played with a totally different rulebook.
Okay, so what do we actually mean when we say digital asset? Well, think of it this way. Each video you make isn't a lottery ticket. Nope. It's more like a small piece of digital real estate. If that video solves a real, valuable problem for people, it can keep generating income for you for years to come. I mean, it's out there working for you 24/7, compounding its value. That's the power we're talking about here.
All right, so how do we actually build one of these things? The book gives us a really clear blueprint. And the whole foundation, the very first step, starts with a huge decision you have to make on day one. You've got to adopt a global mindset. In this chart, it shows you exactly why that is so important. Just look at the huge difference in ad rates, what we call RPM, between markets like the US and Europe compared to a lot of other places. So by targeting a global, English-speaking audience right from the beginning, you are massively increasing how much money you can make for the exact same number of views. It's a straight-up business decision that can totally change your bottom line.
Okay, moving on to the next pillar of the blueprint. And according to the book, this is the single most critical choice you're going to make. Seriously, it's all about your niche, who your audience is, and the content you're creating just for them.
Now, the key here is that you can't just pick a topic you kind of like. A really profitable niche has to check a few boxes. First, there has to be high demand for it already. Second, it has to solve clear problems that people are actually out there searching for solutions to. And third, it needs to have serious potential for making money beyond just ads. The connection is super simple. The more valuable the problem you solve, think personal finance or tricky tech tutorials, the more money you can make. It's a direct link.
So the book lays out 3 main models for how you can actually create your content. First, you could go faceless. This is awesome for beginners or if you want to scale up fast. Then there's the personal brand route. This is perfect if you want to build deep trust and unlock those high-ticket monetization options, like coaching. Or you could go for the automated model, where you build a team and systems to run like a real media company. So you have to ask yourself which one of these really lines up with what you're trying to achieve. Which brings us to the real money engine of this whole operation, monetization. And here's a secret that all the top earners know and live by. They never, and I mean ever, rely on just one single way to make money.
Yeah, and this chart right here is probably going to shatter some of your assumptions. For so many of the most successful channels out there, YouTube ads, they're just a tiny piece of the pie. Look at that, maybe 10%. The real money is coming from a whole ecosystem they've built around the channel. Things like affiliate marketing, selling their own digital products, and landing big sponsorships. And this is the one idea that could change everything for you. Success on YouTube isn't about having the most views. Not at all. It's about building a complete business ecosystem around your channel. It's about finding multiple ways to serve your audience and capturing that value in different ways. Okay, this all sounds pretty good, right? But you're probably wondering, how long does this actually take? And the book is super clear on this. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You need to think of this as a deliberate 1 to 2 year journey to build a business. And luckily, it gives us a clear roadmap to follow.
So let's walk through these steps. First up, you've got to do deep market research to make sure your niche is actually going to work. Then you get into a phase of just relentless, consistent content creation.
After that, you start digging into your analytics to see what's working and you double down on those winning video formats. And then finally, you start building out that whole brand ecosystem we talked about. See, it's a logical, step-by-step path from a simple idea to a real asset.
But look, the book is also super realistic about the challenges here. Your growth at the beginning, it's probably going to be slow. The competition is fierce. You're going to have to learn a ton about analytics, and you have to be so consistent, even on those days when it feels like nobody is watching. And that's why this quote is so important. This whole thing is a marathon, not a sprint. And the biggest risk isn't failing, it's just quitting too early, before your work has had a chance to really grow.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's boil this entire blueprint down to the 3 absolute biggest takeaways that you need to walk away with from this explainer.
Number 1, and this is the big one, treat YouTube like a business, not a hobby, from day 1. That means having a real strategy, doing your homework, and keeping a professional mindset, not just throwing videos out there and crossing your fingers.
Number 2, the right niche is way more important than having perfect video quality. I'll say it again, a valuable solution that people are actually looking for will always beat a beautiful, slick video that solves no one's problem.
And finally, number 3, real long-term income comes from building systems, not just from chasing views. We're talking about multiple, diversified streams of revenue that create a strong, resilient business, not one that depends on tiny ad payouts from viral hits.
So that brings us to one last question, and this one's for you to think about. Take a look at your own channel or the one you've been dreaming about starting. After everything we've gone through today, you have to ask yourself, is this just a hobby? Or are you ready to start building your next global asset?